It speaks to me that they've prepared strategies for each team, that if they have something weird that they might bring out or something they want to try, they've been one of the most active teams on coming here and scrimming, practicing, talking. They've seemed really focused, so they could definitely just have something special for Faze.
Cloud9 has both specialty plays and they have comfort picks. They're actually a more unique team when you look at certain maps and certain situations where Surefour is more willing to pull out the Mei in situations where other teams might not. And they even run things like, say, if they play on a game of Route 66, they'll pull out a Bastion. And they're more willing than other teams to try crazier and wacky stuff. And more than anything else, they have the ability to flex to meet needs. Mendo is a very versatile player, and Surefour, one of the very best players in the game, at a whole lot of different heroes. At one point had one of the better Genjis you can see, more known in recent times for playing more hit scan stuff, but he can pretty much flex to whatever is needed within any given game.
And I do want to give a little bit of credit to Rib there as well. I mean, we first saw him summon him from Misfits at the Overwatch Open. Now he's got himself a nice, steady spot on Cloud9, and he was doing phenomenal yesterday.
I mean, he won the E-League match. Like, he was on that roster, and like he comes over here and he fit in really well. I talked to Mendo too about like their playstyle. They don't have so much set plays like you saw NRG execute. They kind of just have a very good trust like between each other where Mendo will be like, oh, Rib, you should just charge right now. And Rib won't know why, but he'll do it. And it'll work out for Mendo because he knows exactly what he's going to do and how much space that's going to create. Now he'll react to it. And I think that that's at the end of the day what every team should be striving for in this game. And it's good that they're there right now because it puts... They're not in Group A, but Group A looks very tough, and I'm really looking forward to this like playoffs if they make it through.
One of the big differences about the Cloud9 now versus the Cloud9 of several months ago, back when they had their old roster, is that they are a much more multi-threat team. You look at the Cloud9 of old as sort of, how do we support Surefour to win the game? Now they have multiple threats. Not only do they have Surefour, they also have Mendo, and the tank play coming out from Rib has actually been a gigantic improvement in what they're able to do, where you don't have to have Surefour win every fight. There's multiple threats on the team that can come out, even if Surefour gets, say, isolated and taken out relatively early.
Well, another big factor here is going to be the maps. These guys are going to be playing on Kings Row, Nepal, and Dorado. Kings Row has been a great, I think, canvas for a lot of teams to showcase their individual strategies on. But a lot of different picks on that first point that you don't quite see carried through all the way through payload phase. So what do you think our Cloud9 guys are going to start out with here, and how do you think Faze is going to deal with that?
So going into this map, it's going to be interesting. I don't think Kings Row's ever really been Faze's best map, in part because Kings Row's never been the absolute best map for Genji relative to other maps where he goes off. It's hard to say how this is going to go down. We very well could see an opening Hanzo type early setups coming out if teams still want to run it here in Kings Row. It'll be interesting. I just don't think either Kings Row or Dorado actually play too much of Faze's strengths.
Yeah, and I think that C9's very good at exposing weaknesses in teams. You'll see that they have a very hard time running triple hit scan, so maybe they can run the Pharahs on Surefour or Mendo. Their defenses, I think C9's known for this map in some ways, shape, or form. Like, they've been a team that's been together, like half of them, since closed beta. So, Kings Row has always been a staple of Overwatch competitive scene, and I think that their experience on the map, they know the timings, they know the pushes, they know how to, like, abuse the map geometry. And I expect to see more Pharah from Surefour in this matchup specifically. I expect, like, more 76 on defense. They're just good at this on these maps in particular.
I actually did talk to Surefour specifically about Pharah. I try and keep up with all the latest news on all Pharah developments in Overwatch, and he had said they did run it on Kings Row fairly recently, but he said he hated it and it didn't work as well. I kind of disagreed, but it seemed like he just really didn't believe in it at all. So I'm kind of doubting they're going to bring it out, which I find unfortunate because I feel the same, that you could really get a lot of use out of it here on Kings Row. But I think to start out, maybe they're just going to go with something a little bit safer, feel out Phase, just get a first clean point, nothing really too out of the ordinary.
And I don't know, part of the problem with running Pharah right now versus running Pharah in the past is that Pharah in the past, when it was run really well, whether it be by your Surefours of the world, your Tailspins of the world, it was a deeper dive Pharah where you weren't afraid to go for a flank again in the back line. Pharah has to play more poke style right now just because of the threat of Roadhog. You don't want to get hooked in, and that's not exactly Pharah's comfort zone. You can be effective depending on it, but your work is much harder than back in the day where you find a good spot, go in, and dive.
Yeah. That said, I was going to say maybe we might see C9 just come out super arrogant. Like, they're a very arrogant team. They're very, passionate. They might just say, okay, we're just better than you, and come out with some crazy defense try, like pull out the Symmetra, pull out a Bastion on offense, pull out whatever it is. Just something out of the ordinary just to see if they can catch them off guard the way that they did did to NRG.
I feel like with their team change, when they changed rosters, one of the main, most important things they lost was a bit of their arrogance, where they really toned back a bit, and now they're a little bit more cautious because they've made it to these tournament stages before, where, like I said, they've lost matches they should not have lost at all, and that would be awful to happen again.
Oh, I hope their arrogance is in full play as we head into this first match here, because I want to see them go up against FaZe with everything they've got. Let's give it over to the casters and see just how this plays out.
All right, thanks, Rachel. Dylan Monte Cristo here for yet another match here at the Overwatch Invitational at MLG Vegas. It's going to be FaZe Clan taking out Cloud9, and we will see if anything crazy happens. And you know, maybe this is something that won't be too crazy in the near future. But Adam on the Symmetra already, and he's setting up the turrets. I don't think this is any trolling here.
No, and we've seen enough Symmetra at this tournament that yes, it is probably going to become more standard. Very strong hero right now.
I love it.
Choices than you had previously of how to use her kit, and the barrier going to be quite valuable, especially in an era where Roadhog is so dominant. If you're able to use a different kind of barrier besides Reinhardt, so you go ahead and block some of those hooks, you're going to be feeling pretty good. Otherwise, everything pretty normal here.
You know, big change with Symmetra too is that she starts out with 6 turrets right off the bat. She doesn't have to wait to build those up like she used to.
Yeah.
That makes it a lot easier to place those turrets, get ready for the first push. And here it comes from FaZe, and right away we see Shadowburn on that Genji going right after the turrets. I think they knew it was up, and Genjis are quite good at making life miserable for Symmetra.
Well, it goes the other way
turrets
too.
Anyway,
yeah, her turrets. I mean, when we have the increase on Symmetra's left click, it does make it, in fact, easier to hunt down a Genji in the chaos of a fight. You have more distance to work with, and he can't reflect it. So you're feeling pretty good in that scenario as a Symmetra player.
Yeah. Well, Shadowburn certainly doing work already on Cloud9. They're giving us that point really fast. Kai popped out of the suit, taken out of the game. Mendo drops in the back, and looks like an easy first point take for FaZe.
It was a little awkward, Cloud9 falling back inside the hotel there and getting picked off one by one. But this is Shadowburn. We could talk about how Genji is not in the meta, but he is so damn good on this hero that he can make it work.
I mean, like, Genji may not be in the meta, but Shadowburn's Genji is in every meta. That's just how it works, man.
That does seem to be true. It's true these days, that's for sure. So, quick switch off, Adam back on to the Lucio now, as expected. Not going to continue to run with this Symmetra past that single point, but so far FaZe got a lot of time to work with here in the Streets phase. That very early cap, and nobody's got any ultimates yet, but FaZe should be hitting theirs first.
Too easy hooked in, but they weren't able to quite finish him off. But Cloud9 trying to hold right in this doorway. They're going to use a whole hog on the side of FaZe just to push back the blue team. It looks like it's working, that payload. Moves through a nice hook. Onto Reinhardt. Riv, though, staying alive for the moment. They're going to send him in. He does not last there. Nano boost onto Shadowburn now. All right, sorry. Onto the Reinhardt. We switched over to Shadowburn on the Genji. Action going on everywhere, but either way, FaZe does okay in the fight.
Yeah, a little bit awkward use there of the nano boost from C9, a bit delayed. D.Va was flying backwards, actually. The nano boost came down, so not the most efficient use, and FaZe gets a lot more value out of having Fact Fiction with the nano boost on the Reinhardt. They're just going to keep on pushing this payload. They are setting up for a very fast time here on Kings Row.
Yeah, Cloud9 really needs to get it together here if they want to have any chance of meeting this time in their own offensive round. But FaZe already rolling up to the end of point B here. Graviton Surge used on Cloud9 right off the bat. Zombs picks up that first kill. There's the self-destruct, and Kai does pick up too easy, and that kind of opens the door for Cloud9 to come in. They're going to drop the sound barrier to try to buff themselves up a little bit more. Shadowburn taking a nap, then getting taken out, and that is the defense that Cloud9 really needed. They had finally bought themselves some time, gotten a little bit of breathing room. They had to get that one.
Well, and Surefour back on his signature McCree too. That was a major factor in that last fight. They decided they needed a way to deal with that Genji. Go ahead, get that flashbang so that if he dives in, you have a tool to at least stop him from ripping through your team. Also, there's just not a lot right now in FaZe that is long range enough to really deal effectively with that McCree, and nobody who can dive back there unless you know that flashbang is on cooldown with Genji.
All right, Cloud9 uses a Graviton Surge. Surefour gets 2 actually. And he's just going to war, man. I mean, FaZe getting taken out right now. Cloud9 suddenly finding a huge amount of new life here on defense.
Yep, dumping that nano boost onto Mendo so he can get a lot of damage down with a high energy Zarya. And FaZe is really stalled out now. And this is the defense that we needed to see from Cloud9 because they gave up an incredible amount of ground early on in this match.
Yeah, for sure. 3 minutes left in the time bank for FaZe here as they keep pushing. So still a good amount of time to work with. Self-destruct comes in though, and Kai actually gets 2 with that. Wow, Shadowburn and Raucus go down. Rib following it up, and now Kai going deep with that Zarya. And Faze, I gotta say, just really falling apart in the streets phase.
Yeah, they definitely are. And they threw that mech in. It was pretty obvious. I'm surprised that the kills actually came through. I couldn't see if there was any more crowd control.
We're not expecting it.
Yeah, it's certainly a bit of an offensive or aggressive D.Va play rewarded in ways that it probably shouldn't have been. That said, FaZe is looking at a 6-ult push here pretty soon. Because they had so much time during the streets phase, they're able to be patient and just wait for a massive push if they need to.
Yeah, well, they've nearly got it now. Raucus has a nano boost to use, and he's going to go ahead and use it on Genji. Shadowburn pulls out the Dragon Blade, going after the Roadhog, or the Reinhardt. Rib does go down. Zarya taking out Mendo, doesn't last too long, and Shadowburn really making the plays to help FaZe maybe push this. The payload's moving. There goes Surefour. Kai gets another one with the self-destruct. They've been good. That payload actually didn't make it too far.
Well, it is going to move now, though, and Kai, as soon as he's going to get taken out, that's the final kill that they needed. Adam trying to stall for just a little bit longer. That's not going to work out, not going to be too effective. But Shadowburn, again, finding Surefour during that reload, manages to pick up the kill. No flashbang looked like for the McCree player, and so he's able to roll through, even though Surefour looked like he had some good positioning on that high ground.
Oh, Surefour is being annoying now in the Tracer. Oh, but he gets hit with the sleep dart, taken down, and finally FaZe will take that point B. Still about 3 minutes to work with here. Now take the last phase, but here's where you can really get stalled out.
Yeah, and also, Shadowburn has the Dragon Blade, but the price of that push, not only was it not very fast with those 6 ultimates available for FaZe, but it cost them 5 ults to even get it into the Foundry here, and that's going to mean a pretty good hold, pretty substantial hold here for Cloud9 most likely.
Yeah. FaZe trying to edge around the corner here. Cloud9 defended. There's a Graviton Surge. They're going to go in. They're going to send Kai in. We'll see what he can do. Nano boost onto Rib in the meantime. Surefour picking up a kill on that Soldier 76. And self-destruct not getting anything this time around. Surefour still pushing FaZe back. And Cloud9 holding for the moment. They're going to go ahead and drop the sound barrier. Wow, big commitment there. But the nano boost coming in from FaZe as well. Mendo has to be careful. He had the biotic grenade on him. And yeah, it looks like Backfiction able to just get on that payload. They're going to keep pushing. And I don't know about this, man. Cloud9 seems to be having a really hard time slowing down FaZe. There comes the Earth Shatter.
Well, this is what happens when we have so many tanks, Stoa. These fights can last a very long time. Earth Shatter's going to be coming through, catches a few.
All right, well, big play for Zoms. Helps set up his team for 3 kills here. FaZe maybe getting some room to push the payload now. Kai comes back in on the D.Va, but gets taken out almost immediately. He was on his own. So no big surprise there. Now they're going to get a lot of distance on the payload. And if they can defend the respawns, this one might end pretty soon here.
Well, they're waiting. Cloud9's coming out right now, trying to group up and make a final hold here right at the end of the point. Nano Boost coming down.
Yeah, Nano Boost onto Rib. He's going to chase Backfiction out, dodges the charge. Meanwhile, Rolf actually gets picked. Wow, nice pick for 2 easy. Gets 2 onto Surefour, and FaZe really setting themselves up to finish this right here, right now. About a minute left, and they will end it with 57 in the time bank. Could have been better. Cloud9 got a little bit of a delay in that second point, but in the end, not a bad time bank result for FaZe.
Hey, yeah, it'll be rounded up to a minute. Should we actually go into the the rest of the time, into the time bank? But C9, I don't know how happy they're going to be with that defense. They stalled it out for a little bit, but at the beginning and at the end, they gave so much ground. They were too aggressive trying to play it too far up, really. And then we see Rip just like running around in circles right here, and that was just a great play. Getting hooked in by Surefour, but still having ammo left in his gun, so picks up 2.
Yeah.
But they played so far forward and so aggressively that FaZe was able just to dial it back, kind of recollect themselves, wait for all of those ultimates to come out, and then they would re-engage and win that re-engagement. We saw that right in the Foundry at the end of that extended tank war that occurred.
I mean, honestly, too, Kings Row is one of those maps that you do see held before it's completed a lot of times. So if your opponents actually get all 3 points, that really puts you in a bit of an awkward position more than it does on some of the other escort maps.
Yeah, it looks like we are just going to be going to a 4-tank defense here, so no Symmetra coming out for FaZe. And so far, it looks like we may see mirrored compositions if Cloud9 is going to stick with this.
All right. Gonna grind it out.
Gonna grind it out some more, Doa.
Right.
Who can land the Roadhog hook? Who can kill the Reinhardt shield first?
Yep.
The big questions in the 4-tank versus 4-tank matchup.
Indeed. I was talking to the person on the Overwatch team the other day, and I'm like, we need a brawl where everybody's left click just shoots Roadhog hooks, and you only have melee attacks besides that. That sounds like an
I know.
awesome
Yeah,
game.
you said that, and I was like, well, Reinhardt would be super good then, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, you just like take away Reinhardt's hammer or something. He just punches people. You know, you have to even it out some way, but everyone gets Roadhog hooks and melee.
It'd take a long time to burn through a Diva health pool.
Well, let's not talk about that. Stop raining on my dreams, man. Fun wrecker Monte Cristo as usual.
That's right.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I'm just here to destroy dreams.
My dreams go up in Monte Cristo, right back down to earth. Stomps on them.
Well, Reinhardt shield battles commencing here.
Yep.
Let's see. Throwing some fire strikes through, seeing if they can get some damage in, but big holding pattern as the hook fishing will continue.
Yeah. UZ looking for it. Nope, no hook there. Reinhardt shield getting a little bit low for Cloud9, and that's going to be the cue for FaZe Clan to go in, and there's a nice kill into Surefour, and yeah, Fact Fiction getting one on Rolf as well. And so, like I said, man, that Reinhardt shield for Rib just going down a little bit earlier than Fact Fiction's, and FaZe Clan hit the go button as soon as they saw it.
Yeah, great decisiveness there from FaZe, so moving right in, seeing that window of opportunity and getting the picks. Cloud9 really hasn't looked quite as comfortable on these 4-tank setups. I mean, we've seen some great Diva play from Kai, but Surefour on this Roadhog has not really been as impressive as other Roadhog players that we've seen.
All right, well, Shadowburn pulled in on that Diva for the moment, but they weren't able to take him down. Here comes Cloud9 again. And remember, FaZe Clan took point A on their first push. So already, Cloud9 a little bit slower on the offense than FaZe Clan was.
Yeah, absolutely. And the time is ticking down to 2.5.
So Kai brought in again, gets very low. There's the Earth Shatter coming down. Graviton Surge used by FaZe Clan, and they have got Cloud9 right where they want to. Man, that was brutal. Shadowburn had that nano boost, gets 2 kills for himself, and then the rest of the team cleans up. And things are getting, I don't want to say they're getting desperate already for Cloud9, but even if they do take point A here, they're going to have much less to work with on the time bank than FaZe Clan did.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to have to roll through the streets and the Foundry pretty darn quickly.
Yeah.
But man, that was another great counterplay. They waited again for Cloud9's engage with the Earth Shatter, and then Zombs hit a massive Graviton using conjunction with Shadowburn having the nano boost on the Diva. So really nicely done.
A lot of that whole hog blocked by Shadowburn, but they move on to the point anyway. There's the sound barrier coming in. Shadowburn knocked out of the mech suit just in time. Oh, Graviton Surge used by Cloud9, and there's the follow-up. No, the Reinhardt shield. He still got 2 though. I thought maybe the Reinhardt shield got up in time, but Kai still getting a couple, and it looks like Cloud9 finally ready to claim point A here.
Yeah, they came back, got themselves back together, realized that there weren't going to be a lot of ultimates because they had just seen a lot of them come out of FaZe. They had seen that Graviton come out of Zombs. They had seen the nano boost get used. So re-engage at that point, try and come back with their own Graviton Surge, ends up working out. I'm not entirely sure how Kai managed to pick up a couple of those kills because it did look like that combo was slightly mistimed in that the Graviton ended and there was a chance for Cloud9 to reposition.
Yeah, I think it caught 2 people in the hotel, it seemed like almost.
Yeah, it was weird.
They were a little bit hiding, but it was odd. All right, there's Oak. Can you bring in? All right, well, it's the other Diva. Not the most optimal hook target, but it is something. Meanwhile, Cloud9 gets that payload rolling. Rockus with the nano boost. He's going to go ahead, fire out the sleep dart. Don't know if that connected with anyone, though. I don't think it did. Nano boost on Kai, though. Cloud9 getting aggressive. Nano boost on both Divas right now, but Kai knocked down by the Earth Shatter. They're going to bring in Shadowburn with the hook, though. Mendo gets a kill on Zombs, and Surefour with that whole hog getting blocked a lot, but he's still getting some of the pushback done. There goes Shadowburn. The mech is gone. And Mini Diva, not a big concern yet. Just leave her be.
Yeah, FaZe overextended there. They tried to get right into the backline. Shadowburn.
Split spawn.
Yeah, gets split spawn right at the end. So it looks like they are going to be able to successfully move into the final point here. And they'll have a pretty good time bank right now to do it with because the Streets phase was abridged compared to the one that FaZe had when they were on attack. And that's a great Graviton.
Yeah, I mean, it guarantees them that point B immediately and a big team fight. That's going to give them a lot of time.